Hello YouTube, what's up? I had just gotten done rereading one of a critically acclaimed graphic novel, which is Watchmen. I'm gonna start reading Sandman today or tomorrow, and I'm gonna show you the comparison because it's a gigantic volume. I gotta find the volume 1 and I think volume 2 because I have volume 3, I think, of a very large collection that I'm borrowing from the library. And gotta get the other volumes because I'm starting at volume 3, so I'm gonna start reading that, and then I'm gonna go to the library, see if they have the other volumes, and start with those volumes, and so I can do a more thorough analysis for my term paper. But getting back to Watchmen, which was written by Alan Moore. He's a very good writer. He also did V for Vendetta, and many of you know that as a movie, but it's actually a graphic novel, and I think you should go read the graphic novel. And to those of you who actually have read the graphic novel, it is very well written, and so is Watchmen. And it says on the top, in the top of this, that it's one of Time Magazine's 100 best novels. And I agree with that. I think it should be considered novels. V for Vendetta, Sandman, even though I haven't read it, should be considered a novel because, from what I hear, it's very detailed, very well written, and deals with issues that are featured in novels. Watchmen and both V for Vendetta and Watchmen deal with some serious issues. V for Vendetta deals with serious issues like how a totalitarian government can overstretch its bounds in executing its authority and doing horrible things, and then those same things biting them in the ass. And with Watchmen, it puts people who want to be superheroes into real world situations, and it has them, and that's how Rorschach and hopefully this will be an in-depth thing. If it goes on over 10 minutes, I'll do a second video and I'll do that. But Rorschach becomes people know him as the psychotic, unhinged hero who wears a mask that constantly changes, and it's a Rorschach Inkblot type thing. He becomes that because of several events that happen, and they explain them in here. In the graphic novel, they explain why Rorschach has such a psychotic break, and how Rorschach becomes Rorschach and goes from being Kovacs to Rorschach. And I mean, it starts with a rape of someone, and everybody's watching. It doesn't do anything, and then I think it finally breaks with the killing of the little girl. And if you haven't read it, too fucking bad. That's what happens. That's how Rorschach is doing that. I won't give anything major away, although many of you people who watch this already know. I'll do a second video where I go in depth into the things, and I'll do as in depth as I can without revealing too much here. But I'll do a second video with spoilers in it, so that way I can talk about the graphic novel as a whole. But fuck it, I'll just probably do it in this video. But I mean, you find out that the comedian has done horrible things, and you find out plot lines that evolve later. It describes the characters really well, and it characterizes them well, and you feel for the characters. And with a lot of Alan Moore's work, you feel that. I've only read 2 of his things. I've only read Watchmen and V for Vendetta, and I think I may have read something else, but as far as I actually own, I only know 2 things of Alan Moore. And I don't know, but I just love this because it is such a very dark, bleak future. But it's a good future, but it's sort of a dystopian future in some respects. I mean, it's sort of bright and happy future, but it's not really because everybody lives in fear of dying and war, and um, it's really well done. I could sit here all day and analyze all the little nuances in the book and things like that, but that would take forever, and I don't have forever. But I mean, this makes you feel for the characters. It makes you feel for Night Owl. It makes you feel for Silk Spectre, for Silk Spectre's mother. Uh, not so much for the comedian, even though you do feel for the comedian, but not a whole lot. Um, you feel for John, aka Dr. Manhattan. You feel for him. The characters are very well written. The artwork, I mean, is cinematic. I mean, it's done very well. It transitions very well from different characters, and the interludes with the comic book that the one guy is reading. I mean, helps transport between the characters. But there's also good just transitions between going from one character's story to another person's story. Um, it shows that sometimes good people have to do bad things to make the world safe. And that's how Adrian justifies what he does. Um, and I really, you feel for all of the people in this, and you feel it makes you think a lot. I mean, it thinks that if put in the same situations, would you do the same things, or would you do things differently? Would your morals get in the way? Would you not? Would you be able to do what Dr. Manhattan does? Would you be able to do what Adrian Veidt does? Would you be able to do what the comedian did? Um, it makes you put yourself in their shoes, and that's at least that's what I try to do with that. I try to put in myself in their shoes and see if I would do the same exact thing that they were doing. But if you haven't seen the movie, I haven't seen the movie, but if you want to have a sort of a purist um, if you want to have a purist view of the movie, you might just want to go out buy this. It's only 19-20 bucks. So I mean, yeah, it's 19.99. Go out and buy it, read it, so that way you know the source material. Um, and hopefully I want to see Watchmen the movie soon, so I can compare the two and see how people do it. And uh, I just really like it. Um, I mean, on the back it says a masterwork representing the apex of artistry, and I mean, I'm gonna read more of Alan Moore's work because he writes so well and he develops characters really well, and I mean, Dave Gibbons is a really good artist. Uh, uh, it even says this is the book that changed an industry and challenged a medium. If you have never read a graphic novel, start with Watchmen, and even if you have, it's time to read it again, which is pretty sound advice. If you haven't really read any graphic novels, read Watchmen because it'll give you a really good introduction to Alan Moore. You can go to From Hell from there. You can go to V for Vendetta. Um, and stuff. And I just really like it. It's just because they're so human. They have human frailties, but some of them think they're them better than humans. Um, that's all I really have to say in this video about Watchmen. So I'm RezenatorZen. If you haven't, go out and buy a copy of Watchmen and judge it for yourself. Peace, love, harmony, and to all comic book geeks out there, who watches The Watchmen. Peace, love, and harmony, and see you guys later.